Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Off Ramp. I am your host, Thomas Jason Anderson. I have been off. I've been writing a lot. I've been working on some documentary work. I've also been working on my book on Guyana, Epstein, and the geopolitics of the Caribbean. So I've been really super busy. But if you guys follow my different social media pages, you'll see that I've been putting out a lot of work that I've been writing. And I just really appreciate everyone who's been interacting, everyone who's been commenting and sharing the work. I think it's important because you guys, when you come here, and for those who are normal listeners or viewers, I step out of the box, and I definitely try to show everyone globally what's sort of happening underneath the hood in American politics, but I also show how that affects places like the Caribbean, being that I'm from Miami. And so one of the words that's been going through my mind over the past few weeks is jurisdiction. And it's just, it's one of the, I'm one of those people who I have sometimes keywords just sort of, come on to me sometimes, and it just runs through my mind, these keywords. And for the past few months, it's just been jurisdiction. And so, and the reason why is for many reasons, but one of the main reasons why is because in some of the work that I've been doing and writing my book on Guyana, there's been a really big political issue happening involving the extradition of a high-ranking political person within the nation of Guyana. And there's a lot of confusion around this because in the year 2026, everything is sort of confusing. It's really hard to get to the bottom of anything. And so I've been trying to help everyone get to the bottom of it. And I've been trying to be as honest as possible because it's such a complicated situation. And there are so many interests involved. So many people in the United States, in Europe, in Canada, have in the Middle East, have interest now in the Caribbean region. And I've seen it grow, being in Miami all these years for over 40 years now. And I've seen it grow, and I've seen it grow from a very unique standpoint because I've been doing government watchdog work, mainly in Washington D.C., but I was doing it all from here in my home in Miami. So I've been able to watch the politics unfold in real time from a watchdog's perspective. And so that gives me a different perspective, especially on the Caribbean. And so that's what today's show is a little bit about, is trying to re-explain some of the stuff I've been saying for a while now, and also just place it into some context so everyone can see where this is going and where we're going to be in the United States politically, where other nations in the Caribbean are going to be politically going forward here. There are tectonic plates moving. The Maduro capture is, or what I call it, the rescue mission. The Maduro rescue mission is a sign of that, right? So let's just go to some facts, right? Because even though I've been saying many things about the Azradine and Shell Mohamed extradition case, which stems from a grand jury indictment in the Southern District of Florida, Miami, downtown Miami. Um, that was and that indictment was the second piece, because the first thing that happened back in 2024 was the Mohammeds and their business interests were sanctioned by OFAC through the Magnitsky Global Sanctions Act, which is a very strict form of sanctions. So that's where this started, was there. And it started because of alleged gold smuggling activity and other illicit activity. And so uh, normally the way these things go is someone gets sanctioned and they get an attorney here in the United States and they deal with it. They end up having to pay a fine, to the U.S. Treasury. They have to admit to certain things. If they have to, promise they'll stop doing whatever it is that they were caught doing. Right. That's usually how it goes. And it could take 5 years, 6 years. It's sort of a pain in the butt process if you're someone who's trying to be a gold smuggler, because you'll be actively having to work with the United States Treasury Department on resolving the sanctions issues you have while you're trying to smuggle gold. It's kind of like you can't do both, right? And so that's sort of the position that the Mohammeds found themselves in, is They could have gone the conventional route and got an attorney here in the United States and dealt with these sanctions issues. But if they would have gone that route, they couldn't continue to do smuggling of anything. They couldn't continue to do any kind of illegal activity at all. And so I guess for them, I'm assuming here, I'm guessing for them that wasn't in the cards. And so the way the Mohammeds handled this was, and specifically Azruddin Mohammed, after they were sanctioned in June on June 11th, 2024, they decided to make this political. And Azruddin Mohammed decided to start a presidential campaign. And the key part of his campaign was to say that he's an innocent man. He's never committed any crimes, and anything coming out of the United States Treasury Department is paid for. They were bribed by the PPP government in Georgetown, Guyana. The Treasury Department was bribed. The FBI agents, the DEA agents, the Homeland Security agents, all of them were bribed in order to put them on sanctions. And so he decided to run for president because he was saying, hey, the corruption by these people who bribed the president of the United States, the vice president, the Senate, the House of Representatives, the Treasury Department, the FBI, the DEA, the CIA, those guys, the PPP who bribed all of that to put him under sanctions, like that's something that he needs to fight. And so he became a freedom fighter. And his presidential campaign was run on the idea that he was going to free the people of Guyana of the corruption they were underneath, because he knows, like them, just how bad it is, because all of his troubles he was having was coming from this corrupt PPP who have the ability to pay off, like I said before, everyone within the US government to put him under sanctions. And so that's a very, if you're going from his storyline, this is a very huge issue, because now you've got a corrupt US government, everyone paid off, working for a handful of politicians in Georgetown, Guyana, in order to go after Azruddin Mohammed, because, as his sister has said in the past, that he's the freedom fighter for the people. And so the storyline from the Mohammeds is Azruddin is the new freedom fighter of South America. He's the new freedom fighter against the corrupt empire of the United States. He's under persecution because they've been paid off by the PPP. And so now he's running for president of Guyana to set the world straight and to set the people free. And so that's been his thing. And all along, I have said, well, that's not the story. I have said the story is he is a gold smuggler. He's a criminal element. He's a money launderer. All of this, I say this because I see inside the indictment from a grand jury on him that all this points to this, right? And so, and I know how our system here works in the United States. I know you can't pay off the president, the vice president, the Senate, the House of Representatives, the Treasury Department, the DEA, the CIA, the FBI. You can't pay off all of them. I mean, what kind of nonsense is this? But this is the nonsense world we're in. And so all of his supporters believe this, right? And so I've been for months saying, look, guys, and the reason why I've been saying this is because, like I say, I'm watching the political structure build here in the Caribbean. And I see where the Mohammeds are placed in it, and I see what's happening, and I understand. And I'm telling you, between all of this craziness, you've got a population in Guyana who are truly believing what Mohammed is saying. They're truly believing that he's a freedom fighter, that he is not a money launderer, that he is not a gold smuggler, that the grand jury indictment on him from Miami, that those grand jurors were all paid off by the PPP government. They all got Mercedes-Benz's, vehicles, bank accounts full of cash, right? But they believe this. There is a huge, sizable population in Guyana of people who truly believe that the PPP have gone that far, that they've actually paid off grand jurors in Miami, that they've paid off the judge, that they've paid off the prosecutors, that they've paid off all of the investigators, that they paid off the Miami Police Department. All of this people really believe this. And I know it because, as I've been saying for months to them, no, that's not the case. the case is that the Mohammeds are being pointed to as criminals. And not only is the US government saying it, but the government of Guyana is saying it. Everyone is saying it, except for the Mohammed supporters. And so we're in this place now where everyone, I think, has to decide, especially the Mohammed supporters. Are you guys correct? Did the PPP pay off all thousands of people to rig this on the Mohammeds? Or is this a situation where the Mohammeds got caught with their hands in the cookie jar? They're not really that sophisticated. And in a desperate effort to try to clear themselves and get out of this, they tried to use the political road to do it. And it's turned into a total fiasco where all of their efforts destroyed mainly the opposition party, the APNU and the PNC. And at the same time, all of his followers are believing this lie that the United States government, that thousands of people within the United States government have taken bribes, millions of dollars worth of bribes in order to attack Muhammad because he's the new freedom fighter of South America. I mean, this is like comic book stuff here. And so I've been saying over and over, no, the US government wants Muhammad because the US government wants Muhammad because the US government is saying he has committed grievous crimes against the United States of America, against the people of America. This is what our government's saying. He has committed horrendous crimes against us. I'm telling you guys that. And everyone keeps saying that I've been paid by the PPP myself. The PPP has paid me to say this, right? To lie to you and to say, no, 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 no. Muhammad is the freedom fighter of this generation. And what's happening here is the PPP figured it out and they've paid off everyone, including me, of this show that I have. I'm being paid too to try to stop his freedom that he's bringing. Come on, guys. And so if you can, so his supporters still don't believe it. They still believe I'm being paid by the PPP. They still believe that Muhammad is the freedom fighter. They still believe that what he's facing from a grand jury is rigged, that the PPP paid off the jurors for this, that they paid off the U.S. attorney. They paid off the judge. They paid off the security guards at the courthouse. They truly believe it. But with that said, let me just go to split screen so we can hear the ambassador of the United States of America to Guyana speak on the same issue. If you guys don't believe me, listen to the ambassador. Okay. I mean, at this point, I think it's just time that we sort of all admitted, even the Muhammad supporters, that all of us, the world right now, has been caught up in a political maneuver orchestrated by the Mohammeds This political maneuver is being orchestrated in order to somehow, some way find an exit door out of the smuggling problems that they have found themselves in. Now, there's a key point here. They were sanctioned by underneath a program called the Magnitsky Global Sanctions Act. That sanction is important because that's involving people who do things, who do criminal activity and use it in order to influence elections. Do it in order to influence leadership in a country. And so that's telling me that whatever the gold smuggling was with Mohammed, that this was political in nature, some of it, political in nature, somehow, some way involved taking over the nation of Guyana for whatever reason, or maybe other nations, because we're talking about 10,000 kilograms of gold that they got caught smuggling. So that's a lot of money that can fund many, 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 many political operations. And so this is where I jump off and I try to explain to the people of Guyana, like, this is not something that is like exclusive to you guys. This is not a local problem. This is international in nature. And as you can see in the indictment against the Mohammeds, these guys had an international gold smuggling operation going where the United States was a part of it. The Middle East was a part of it. This is a big deal. And this international operation that they were a part of with the gold smuggling is what is causing chaos in in nations throughout the world. It's why the Mohammeds are under the microscope. It's why the US government is after them, because their gold smuggling activity and whatever other activity they were doing, it was helping finance terrorism. It was helping finance political interference in other democracies around the world in order to create instability, because within that instability, people who are laundering and smuggling things can easier smuggle and launder. So this is what we're talking about with the Mohammeds is something structural. It's something that has to be dealt with, because if not, all of us are going to suffer around the world, because you can't have 10,000 kilograms of gold and whatever else is being smuggled out of Guyana hitting the world black market and funding terrorism and crazy political operations all over the place, because it creates so much instability. It'll throw us into World War III. This type of stuff will create economic collapse in places all over. This is how bad it is. I'm telling you, 10,000 kilos of gold is a lot of weight to hit the markets, and it's hitting the black market when it hits. Okay. And so what are the type of things? What are the type of things that are being funded when you have an operation out of Guyana where you've got 10,000 kilos of gold and you've got drugs, whatever else being smuggled out? What's really being financed? Well, the things being financed are stuff like in the United States, this Nick Fuentes Graper outfit. Rutgers University, I wrote on this. Go onto my Substack for Off Ramp Politics. It's offramppolitics.com. I wrote about this, how Rutgers University did a report on Nick Fuentes and the Graper movement, and they examined their social media impact, and what they found was significant foreign influence. And you have to ask your question, well, where, if all this is happening foreign and it's in order to promote and push this racist Groyper movement in the United States on the right, where is this money coming from? It's coming from the smugglers in South America like the Mohammeds. That's why he's getting hit with the Magnitsky Global Sanctions Act. That's what's happening. So here in the United States, we're being impacted heavily politically, where our institutions, our political structures being torn apart by foreign actors. And these foreign actors have a boatload of cash and no one can figure out where they're getting it from. And our government has figured out where they're getting some of it from the Mohammeds. That's why they got hit with the Global Magnitsky Sanctions Act sanctions, because their smuggling operation, their laundering stuff, it's involving corrupting political systems throughout the world. That's what's going on. And so I write about what's happening with the grapers here in the Republican Party in the United States on my Substack. I describe how they are the perfect Trojan horse politically for outside entities to fracture and to hurt us politically here in the United States. I'm not saying that that's what these guys. I'm not saying Nick Fuentes is a spy or anything. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that the infrastructure he's created is ready made for a puppet master from abroad to basically not control him, but to finance the things about him that they like, right? And the things they don't like, maybe they don't pay him as much. It's kind of how it works. And so that's why you see most of the rhetoric coming from the grapers is just simply attack rhetoric. It's destabilizing. They're trying to take an entire generation of young white men and they're trying to unplug them from the normal political system in the world, not just in the United States, in the world, so that by the time they're 30, 35 years old, they're wild animals politically. They've got no clue what's happening around the world politically. And so they're basically unplugged. There's nothing these guys will be able to do because you can't replace a decade or two of political knowledge that you never got. But on top of that, what you got in its place was brainwashing material by some guys in some Bangladeshi sweatshop. Just saying what's going on. And so so let's fast forward to now. You've got somebody named Stephen A. Smith, this Sports Center guy, ESPN sports guy. He's seriously going to run for president of the United States for the Democrats. And the reason why he's able to do that is because the Democrats are the guys back in the 90s with Bill Clinton. They are the guys who orchestrated what we like to call here globalization, where they shifted from the party of the unions and the everyday worker to become the party of the representatives of hedge fund managers and political operations and cults and all kinds of stuff. These guys are into all kinds of stuff. Okay. And they converted the Democratic Party into a party of not a party that does the on the work hard work on the ground work to get things done for the everyday person. No, they became the party of influence in high places, in elite places, the Davos Forum, George Soros, Bloomberg. Like these guys totally changed what they were fundamentally. And so now they've turned into like global managers of politics. The United States is at the top. We defeated the Soviets. And so now we're going to manage the globe politically, economically. And so they've got all these guys within the Democrat Party within leadership who are they're managers of things. They don't actually do anything. They tell the people who are doing things what to do. And they try to orchestrate it around the globe with their different meetings and Davos and stuff, right? But what the Democrats haven't realized is that's good in a world where America is clearly the top and the best and it's not competitive. But in a competitive world, that system doesn't work. Why? Because it gets infiltrated. The Clinton Foundation, instead of it becoming a force of good throughout the world, becomes a thing that money launderers and drug lords funnel money through and take control of. This is what's happening because the Democrats, they're so they're intellectually they're from the books, man. They come from school, from colleges. They got the Harvard, Yale crap going, and they think because they did some internships in college or because some of the first jobs they worked out in the field made them rough or something. They don't really know the real world. They don't, unfortunately. Okay, and that's who's running their party. And because of that, they've taught all of their voters, all their supporters that, hey, guys, don't worry. We're in a world where we're in control. We just have to just come with smart policies, have a really good meeting in Davos, and everything will be fine. Trump won't be here anymore. We'll just keep it going the way we had it going. That's the pitch from the Democrats. In the meantime, their party, everyone else is looking at them like they're totally insane. What's wrong with you? The entire world is in a hybrid warfare position, economic warfare, political disinformation warfare, actual kinetic warfare. This is a wild situation right here. And the Democrats are just whistling past the graveyard. Like, just keep on doing business as usual. And so that's why a Stephen A. Smith can run for president for the Democrats. Because from their position, this is just a communications issue in the world. There aren't any real problems, structural problems in the world. There aren't any corruption issues in the world. We're just having a communication problem, guys. As long as we communicate a little different, everything will be fine. This is what they believe. And so this is why Stephen A. Smith, you'll see Jamel Hill, another sports person, is saying, hey, the Democrats need to take Stephen A. Smith serious. He's actually going to make an impact. Yeah, he is. Because the Democrat Party is living in la la land. They're not living in reality. And in this fake world they're in, a Stephen A. Smith is actually a guy. He's actually somebody to pay attention to. But unfortunately, we're in a real world where, the right wing says it a lot, but it's the truth. We've got people being kidnapped and smuggled. We got drugs everywhere. We got fentanyl crisis. We've got an economic situation that is total insanity. And then we've got on top of that problems with regional issues, global issues, tariff issues, inflation issues, political issues between, the list goes on. This is a very volatile time in the world. And so I'll circle back to Guyana and the importance of Guyana. The reason why Guyana is so important today in today's world right now is because, as you can see, in other places where there's a lot of oil, things aren't so steady. Okay. The Middle East at any moment can turn into some kind of craziness. The situation in Iran, it looks like there's going to be war there, which taking their oil offline even for a little while is going to be a big problem for China. There are so many things happening right now that are so serious, but the Democrats are just talking about Epstein. I don't know what the hell they're talking about. They're not paying attention to anything. And in the meantime, a place like Guyana has become a very important place because not only has Guyana been taken off of the black market primarily when it comes to funding these crazy political things that are going on, but on top of that, Guyana is now offering positive economic flow, positive political flow into the world economy. So it's not a drag anymore. So that's the positive side, but it's going to take getting the Mohammeds put in jail here in Miami, facing justice and dealing with this problem of smuggling and laundering and all that for this to finally come to a head and come to fruition. So thanks again, guys. Please share and like. Send me your comments. I'm here for it all. I really appreciate it. I hope you guys have a great day. I'll be back on again to talk this stuff again. But hey, man, this is Off Ramp Politics. I am your host, Thomas Jason Anderson. Have a great day, guys. Really appreciate it.
Now I'ma put it down like that. I'm leaving, I ain't coming back. You don't like the way I act anyway. You really don't have to react. Don't try to change my mind, in fact. Honey, I've already packed all my stuff. We're no longer kids, let's move on. And you are not my kid, so I'm done. Please don't make me pull my gun. Sorry boy, I can't be the one. You know it, yeah. Nothing lasts forever. You know that a change will make it better. You know that nothing lasts forever. You know that There's no one to blame, you see. Maybe we're not meant to be. There are plenty more fish in the sea anyway. Every day's a different thing, so I'm not into wedding rings. It ain't personal, it's the way I think. Yeah. You